Buenas, bienvenidos a un nuevo vídeo. Hoy vamos a completar la misión final, es decir, vamos a ir a Tártaro para rescatar a Phineas Wales, o al menos para intentarlo.
Captain, as it appears we may soon be embarking for a maximum security prison planet, I believe the crew would like to speak with you to, as you humans put it, air some concerns.
Vamos a ver qué opina nuestra tripulación de esta misión suicida.
Those board goons kidnapped Mr. Phineas and hauled him away to Tartarus. How are we gonna get him out?
I never got to know Doc Wells. We ain't friends or crew. But he's still one of us. He's the reason the boss is up and walking right now. We can't just leave him to die in Tartarus.
To extract the scientist, you will need to infiltrate the labyrinth. But that course of action is likely to be quite dangerous, Captain.
Tendré que infiltrarme en el laberinto. Esto es la primera vez que lo mencionan. Antes no habían dicho nada de que la prisión fuese un laberinto. Pero igualmente tenemos que ir a rescatar a Phineas, porque no le vamos a dejar ahí. O vamos, no es mi intención dejarle ahí.
I am programmed to warn you whenever you exhibit inclinations toward risky behavior. Breaking into Tartarus will not be easy.
Let's just do it. Kick down some doors, grab Doc Wells, and cut a path out. We don't need a plan. We got guns.
If you really mean to do this, you should see to your final affairs and close out any unfinished business. Once you sneak into Tartarus, you may be there a while. Or permanently.
Vamos, que vamos a ir, pero no sabemos cuándo ni cómo vamos a salir. A ver, antes de ir, quiero prepararme. O sea, quiero mejorar mis armas, si es que aún puedo hacerlo. Y también quiero saber qué opina la tripulación de esto.
It's the craziest plan I've ever heard. And I mean that as a compliment.
You didn't hire me to think. And I ain't about to start now. You're my boss. And I'll walk into
Este,
fire
como
with
siempre,
you.
siendo un completo
I think it's
descerebrado.
insane, but maybe the colony needs a healthy dose of insanity right about now.
I know it's dangerous. And I won't lie and say I'm not scared out of my wits. But I couldn't live with myself if we didn't do something.
Let Sam get the grime out. It's what our units do best.
The entire plan is a terrible idea, but I admire your bravado, Captain, which leads me to illogically believe, against the odds, that you will be successful.
Lo que he dicho, antes de ir, voy a
You
prepararme
gonna
bien.
prepare? Sure. Guess I could give my ass-kicking boots another coat of polish. You got some sort of plan in mind?
Sí, tengo un plan en mente. Nos moveremos con astucia, nunca he tenido un plan, entramos y matamos a todo el que se interponga. Esta opción le gustaría mucho a Félix y seguramente también a Nioka, pero no creo que sea la mejor opción, porque si es una prisión de máxima seguridad, sus razones habrá, así que prefiero intentar hacerlo con sigilo, infiltrarme despacio, poco a poco, cargarme a la gente que sea necesaria,
The fewer folks we got to hurt, the better.
pero bueno,
Maybe
ya
on our way
veremos
out,
cómo
we'll let
avanza
all
la
those poor
situación.
souls locked up in there go free.
Sure, boss. You do the talking. I'll pack a few more rounds of ammo.
Estás a punto de asaltar el laberinto, en Tártaro, y decidir el destino de la colonia de Alción. Si guardas la partida tras cruzar este punto, solo podrás terminar la historia principal en Tártaro. Las misiones secundarias y el contenido descargable, peligro en Gorgona o asesinato en Erídano, no estarán disponibles para las partidas guardadas después de este momento. Voy a continuar porque las misiones secundarias que me quedan, creo que únicamente me queda una en la que tengo que ir vestida con determinados conjuntos de ropa a una tienda de Bizancio. El problema es que ya no puedo volver a Bizancio porque la Junta está enfadada conmigo. Entonces, en cuanto alguien de Bizancio me ve, normalmente un guardia me dispara automáticamente. Entonces esa misión no la puedo continuar. Antes he ido a Frontemar a ver si podía terminar una misión que tengo desde el principio del videojuego, que consistía en entregarle un libro al vicario, pero en cuanto me he encontrado cara a cara con el vicario, me ha disparado. Así que la misión de Bizancio ni siquiera la voy a intentar. En Gorgona ya lo he terminado todo, así que únicamente nos queda la misión principal.
I am pleased to inform you that we have arrived at the labyrinth. Please be advised that the punishment for trespassing is execution. Please be advised that electrical storms on the surface of Tartarus make departure impossible at this time.
¿Algo más?
Resident count is as follows: 3,071. Resident deaths, including but not limited to executions, are as follows: 1,684. Resident escapes are as follows: 0. The interior can be chilly. Take a scarf with you, Captain. I would also ask that you leave your captain's ID with me, in the event that you do not return.
No, no los voy a dejar, porque voy a volver.
Understood. If you die or are incarcerated for life, I can generate a new ID for the next captain. I would prefer if you return, though. Oh, speak of the devil. Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the prison's docking authority now.
Attention, unauthorized spacecraft. This is a maximum security installation. Your presence here is an explicit violation of UDL corporate policy. You are hereby confined to your docking platform until a ticket detailing your crimes has been filed and notarized, at which point your vessel will be seized and you will be executed.
O sea, que aunque en ese informe detallado no aparezca ningún crimen, me van a ejecutar igualmente. ¿Y cuánto tiempo llevará?
I'm sorry, you people? Did you just cast a generalization on upstanding UDL employees? That's a fine of 200 bits.
Una multa.
You're up to 5,708,
5.708.
not including the cost of your execution and the disposal of your remains, which will be assessed.
Pero que la ejecución también me la cobran a mí. Claro, ejecútala a la estilista de cejas del presidente. Esta.
Wait, you're the stylist? Thank the law you're here. Everyone knows how particular the chairman is about his eyebrows. Here, take my biometric ID instead. Anyway, Tartarus Docking Authority signing up. Hang on. Another ship just pulled into your dock. Wait, is that from the Groundbreaker? What the? Pay no mind to that. Just have a pleasant day.
Transmission terminated. Biometric ID received. Transferring data to external cartridge. How can I be of assistance? I request you do not wake me if I am sleeping upon your return.
Vamos al lío. Y aquí está la caballería.
Push on, Mardats.
Great. More paperwork. What was that? Protect the ground! Here we go!
Got him all.
Que a estas alturas baje mi reputación con la Junta me da igual, porque total, para lo que me queda de juego...
I could do that.
Waste company ammo.
Are you new here? I didn't think we were... Oh, no. Don't tell anyone, please. Thank you.
Sí, te voy a matar ahora, pero bueno.
Great work.
Does a prison have for bars when it's got a storm like that guarding the gates?
I've got to admit, I'm not too keen on walking into a prison. They lock me up, I'm liable to kill everyone trying to get back out.
Let's look around. There's gotta be a few ways through here.
Sublight has arrived. Hey, kid. A little bird told me you could use our help. I said I owed you one, and I always pay my debts.
¡Hala! Se acabó. Uno menos. A ver, es que el problema... O sea, yo creo que eso está arriba. Y el problema es que si me quedo abajo, los que están aquí en la zona de arriba, en cuanto se enteren, me van a reventar. Vale. Otro menos. Se acabó el disfraz. Vale, por allí viene otro. Al final lo mejor va a ser la escopeta. Ni fusil, ni rifle, ni nada. Uy, se me descuidó, le pego un tiro. A ver, que estoy oyendo gritar. Mierda, toda la gente que hay ahí. No tengo ni idea de a dónde han ido. No, no, cárgate a ese. Vale, ese ya no sube. Por fin, hasta que se ha muerto. Vale, están subiendo.
Security patrol initiated.
Here we go! I'm gonna get your face! We're pretty good at this!
Ah, no, que aquí él es de los nuestros. Ah, pues no, no es de los nuestros. Es que este arma allí se ve que llega a peor. Bueno, no creo que se la hayan cargado, pero da igual. Seguimos para adelante. A ver, ¿qué hay aquí? No sé para qué sigo cogiendo munición, si ahora mismo podría montar mi propia tienda con todo lo que llevo encima. Pero bueno. Bueno, pues vale. Pensaba que podía hacer algo. como le tengo puesto el silenciador al rifle, no se han enterado. Menos mal que me he traído a Parvati, porque si no hubiera tenido que dar la vuelta por el otro lado.
Let's go, troops. Stellar Base counting on us.
Madre mía, están aquí todos.
I'm taking cover.
¡Toma ya! Maipa Noi. Ni idea de quién es esa. Venga, voy a repetir la jugada de antes a ver si también me sale. Aunque por allí al fondo he visto a un tipo. Genial. Ha ido bien. ¿Aquí qué hay? Vale, hay un pasillito secreto que yo, como no me he fijado, pues... A ver, vamos por arriba. Voy por arriba, pero para nada. He cogido ese camino.
Well, look who it is. I'll be damned. I was prepping the studio for our announcement, and here you are as a bonus. I had heard you'd taken a mechanic under your wing. What's the matter, girl? Couldn't find actual employment?
The captain's treated me right. Better than any of you bored folk ever have. I'm exactly where I want to be.
Ah, I knew I smelled Monarch when you lot walked in. The stench of sulfur, depression, and desperate bravado is unmistakable.
Keep talking, and you'll be smelling iron. Ain't nobody so important I won't put a bullet in him.
When you go off and get yourself shot, try to avoid taking one to the face. I'll want it recognizable to show to my citizens.
Le voy a pegar un tiro en la cabeza y se la voy a reventar.
I'm not in your way, you dullard. You talk to me. You want to go die in a blaze of glory? Be my guest. Besides, I don't know what you think you're doing here, but Sophia's doing good work up there with Phineas. Your efforts will be in vain.
Un hijo de la grandísima ratrucha. Me encanta ese insulto.
Yes, he is an extraordinarily obstinate fellow, isn't he? Fine, he isn't working for us per se. Semantics, he'll come around. But that's between us. As far as my adoring citizens will know, we've turned a dangerous crackpot into a working-class man. It's a miracle. Oh yes, go on, wake them up, add more mouths to feed. That'll solve our starvation problems. I don't know what half-baked plans that simpleton in a lab coat has been leading you through, but it's done. It's over. Let me ask you something, Captain. Have you at any point thought about not fucking up our entire society?
We're helping, which is more than you can say.
I'm making actual progress towards stabilization and recovery. You're just getting in the way.
A ver, que diga que él lo está solucionando cuando se dedica a tener a la gente engañada y en esos tanques congelados, o mejor dicho, criogenizados.
If I and my people can ride it out in luxury and happiness, yes, I would. I don't know if you've noticed, Captain, but Halcyon's pretty much a lost cause.
Con tus recursos y algunos de los que están en la Esperanza podríamos hacer muchas cosas. Eso es cierto. Esto obviamente es mentira, tampoco creo que se lo vaya a creer, porque en Bizancio solo hay ricachones, aristócratas, que quieren vivir del cuento.
I'll admit, there's no shortage of talent in the scientists and engineers there. Look, I'm not an unreasonable man. If you manage to storm the castle, as it were, and make it out of here with Phineas alive, I can't exactly afford more havoc than you've already caused. Fine. If you survive, you'll need someone to sell the rest of the board on your plan.
Me fastidia un poco el hecho de dejarle con vida. Espero que después el tal Rockwell sirva para algo, porque si no, le voy a volar la cabeza. A ver, ¿por dónde voy ahora?
All right, MSI. I'm not one for rousing speeches, but the captain needs our help. So, get in there and fight.
Voy a colaborar en esta batalla y le voy a volar la cabeza a este que está aquí. Genial. No, maldita sea, ahora vienen todos por allí. Vamos. Joder, qué susto. Si me descuido le pego un tiro a ese. Queda un enemigo, pero supongo que estará en un nivel inferior.
Take a breath now, folks. Once we're up there, I suspect we ain't gonna have time to stop shooting.
Captain, you have an uncanny talent for complicating my life. You've disrupted the balance of power. You've upset the natural order of things. You've introduced uncertainty, and there is nothing I despise more than uncertainty.
No creo que se vaya a rendir, obviamente. Es una persona muy terca.
Do you imagine you're leading some grand revolutionary army? The Mardets, Sublight, Monarch. You've brought them all to my doorstep. You're nothing but a rabble-rouser. I'm going to put an end to your little rebellion, and then I'm going to have you and your associates arrested. The board is the only legitimate power in Halcyon. We are Halcyon.
Qué equivocada
I admit
está.
I miscalculated the extent of your influence. The board's plan never accounted for you. This is a mistake I intend to correct. I have Dr. Wells in my custody. Once I've secured his cooperation, I can move forward with the program. I can repair the damage you've done. I can set things right.
Y tan perjudicial. Me lo voy a cargar. A ver, tampoco es que fuéramos amigos. Me sacó del congelador, pero ya está. Pero ves que entre las opciones que hay... Bueno, le voy a decir esta.
I'm aware of your propensity for violence. Halcyon is a bloodier place because of you. I take no pleasure in this, you know. I simply have no other option. Leaving you alive is too great a risk. Goodbye, Captain. I had a feeling you'd say that. This prison is equipped with an automechanical warden. I've had it programmed to eliminate you on sight and rinse your remains down a drain. And don't worry. I will inform Dr. Wells that you died heroically, or something.
Un momento. A ver. Ahí está el mecha. Y parece que lleva una espada. Bueno. Tengo armas contra los mechas, así que... A ver, espérate que lo mismo puedo desactivar al mecha. Venga, no fastidies, me faltan 6. Pero si esta tiene pirateo. Pues ala, pues no puedo hacer nada. Qué cerca ha estado. A ver, están allí al fondo los otros dando por saco. Ya es lo que me faltaba. No puedo usar las habilidades del acompañante porque se los acaban de cargar a los dos. Así que ahora mismo estoy sola ante el peligro. ¡Joder, venga! Sí, pero es que yo por mucho que corra... ¿Y los enemigos? ¿Qué ha pasado con ellos? O sea, no tengo ni idea de qué acaba de ocurrir. O sea, si simplemente me he ido allí al final para esconderme. Llave de cámara de hibernación. O sea, no tengo ni idea de cómo es posible que todos los enemigos se hayan muerto al mismo tiempo, cuando estaba rodeada. Cuánto lujo hay aquí, ¿no? O sea, contrasta muchísimo el lujo, la brillantez de estos azulejos con eso de ahí, con la prisión. ¿Ya se ha muerto? Pues sí que ha durado poco. Ah, concho, que está aquí.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
Bueno, esto si supiera, o sea, si vosotros supierais la de veces que me han matado, sobre todo porque las armas de los enemigos hacían muchísimo daño. Con 2 tiros que me pegaban o 2 golpes cuerpo a cuerpo, prácticamente me dejaban sin vida. No recomiendo la opción que decía Feliz al inicio del vídeo de entrar y liarnos a tiros con todo Cristo, porque es dificilísimo.
I'm all right, thanks to you. Akande wanted my cooperation. I'm quite sure she would have beaten it out of me if you hadn't arrived. You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own.
You mean we're all alone out here? Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own.
Por un momento pensé que íbamos a poder viajar a la Tierra para saber qué había ocurrido allí. Pero bueno, si ahora estamos solos, todo el mundo va a tener que llegar a un consenso para poder salir adelante. Porque obviamente no se va a permitir que se cree otra organización como la Junta. Pero vamos a ver qué ideas tiene este señor.
Yes, we do. You've done a marvelous thing. You've succeeded where anyone else would have failed, including me. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us?
Por supuesto que sí.
When I revived you, I thought you were going to help me save this colony. I was wrong. I had our roles reversed, you see. You're the one who's going to save us all. I'm just the one who set you on your path. You're the best thing to ever happen to Halcyon. If you want to take it upon yourself to lead this colony, you have my support. We're not a colony any longer, are we? Our last connection to Earth has been severed, and so we have been set free. Our future is uncertain, and no one knows what tomorrow holds. Exciting, isn't it?
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment he landed in Emerald Vale, his actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Between MSI's worker-centric policies and the iconoclast's manpower, Sanjar and Zora were able to rally many of the Terra 2 townships to their cause. MSI's workforce swelled, and the iconoclasts enjoyed a significant surge in their ranks. The board was too distracted by infighting and internal politics to stop MSI from becoming a powerful corporation and a refuge for townships that might have fallen through the cracks. Bolstered by her status as savior of humanity, Lilia Hagen ushered Sublight Salvage to a new golden age. Her company grew bolder and more transparent over time, muddying the line between lawful and criminal for the entire colony. The Sublight family would thrive for years to come. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide Medevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Even the Gorgon asteroid, though a distant enigma to most of Halcyon, felt the aftershocks of your actions. Olivia and Minnie Ambrose worked together to cure the marauders Adrena Time had created. Through their partnership as scientist and administrator, they discovered the harmony that had eluded them as mother and daughter. And through years of patience and effort, they discovered a means to wean Halcyon from the scourge of Adrena Time. Their work eventually allowed Wells and his scientists to treat many of Halcyon's marauders. As their addiction waned, the colonists who had lived for so long under the thrall of Adrena Time returned to their communities and loved ones, and joined in the effort to save Halcyon. In spite of everything, the Gorgon asteroid remained a sobering reminder of the potential for progress and disaster in humanity's most ambitious efforts. Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat miners sought her out by name, and in no time, she was a fixture in the Groundbreaker's mechanical ecosystem. She and Junlei were never far apart. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. Chairman Rockwell served as the public face for the changes in Halcyon to come. Whenever you needed strings pulled or a voice to sell a policy change, Rockwell was only too happy to oblige. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. He eventually came to terms with his own past and was able to forgive the mistakes of his younger self by devoting his remaining years to serving the colony. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. In the end, Dr. Wells was able to save every scientist and engineer aboard the Hope. Over the next decade, nearly all of the Hope's remaining colonists were successfully revived. Halcyon saw a period of rapid technological and scientific advancement. Breakthroughs in dietary supplements saved the colony from starvation. Geoengineering projects and social reforms began to change the structure and character of the colony. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Today, Halcyon has stabilized. The people of the colony work hard to adapt to their new circumstances. Nearby colonies send aid and supplies. Life will never be easy in Halcyon, but for the first time in its history, there exists a sense of real, genuine hope about the future. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Como veis, parece ser que el único fallo que hemos tenido en todo el videojuego fue darle la energía al laboratorio botánico de Adelaide McDavid, porque según nos han contado en el epílogo, no quiso aceptar a mucha gente que estuvo en Frontemar, así que todas esas personas seguramente murieran como han dicho. El resto parece que ha salido bastante bien. Espero que os haya gustado este videojuego. Yo la verdad es que lo recomiendo. La única parte que no me ha gustado es que el nivel más alto que puedes alcanzar es el 33, y eso, según he leído, gracias a la expansión Gorgona, porque si no hubieras llegado únicamente hasta el nivel 30, y me parece un nivel muy bajo. Si os ha gustado el vídeo o el videojuego, apoyad el vídeo, dadle a la campanita, suscribiros, porque muy pronto vamos a irnos al año 2077. Así que os espero en el siguiente vídeo. Saludos.